All right, it's Mike Adam on 92.3 Amp Radio. I have a very sick Jessie Reyez in here. I saw your Fallon performance, though. You couldn't even tell.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So when you are a little under the weather, is there different preparation you do to perform?
The only thing that changes is just like a copious amount of vitamins that I start taking that I wouldn't take on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And yeah, but like, you know, just tea and warming up and praying.
You sounded so good.
Thank you.
You've had quite the ride the past few months or whatever. You know, you had the BET Awards. You did Governor's Ball here in New York, featured on Calvin Harris's album. How did that collaboration come about?
It's crazy, man. Figures had been out for a few months, and I got a DM, and it was Calvin Harris, and I was like, nah, this is like a parody account or something. Like, it can't be. And then he said, hey, like, people are really fucking with your stuff, and I thought that, like, you should know that. And I was like, man, thank you. And then we talked a bit more, and he said he was working on something, but to keep it on the low. And then he brought me and my manager out to Los Angeles to, like, for just one session, and that session ended up going really well, so it turned into a week, and then that week ended up turning into me coming back to Los Angeles to create some more. And I'm just so grateful. Like, when things like that happen, it's just incredible. Sometimes I'm in awe, you know?
That's got to be happening more and more now. I saw like even the Chainsmokers tweeting out lyrics to your song. Yeah. And has there been any other like really cool one, a DM you've gotten from somebody that was just like totally blown away by your music?
Man, after BET, it was just funny because Quest ended up doing a tweet too, and Megan Trainor's like forever supporting, and Chance after the BET Awards too, like. But it's everybody, like everybody. Sometimes I'll get tweets that someone will equate the pain that they feel when they hear that song to something that's completely unrelated, like a family member passing or something.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I don't know, that hits me hard too, you know, like, because it was never intended to be that, but for someone to connect with that pain and send me that kind of DM where it's something so personal and like a window into their sadness that they didn't really have to share with me, but they do. That means a lot too.
Well, I'm sure you've heard this more and more now, but you have this rawness about you that I think people gravitate towards. Your lyrics are so personal, and I was thinking about it, like, I don't know if I'd be comfortable sharing that with the world. I imagine it's like somebody swiping your diary and reading it in front of the classroom or whatever. Are you ever nervous about putting out certain lyrics or songs?
Not so much, just because I've always kind of been proud of the fact that I can be very honest about things, and it just seems natural to like not hide stuff. Like, I don't know, it's never really crossed my mind unless I'm throwing names in there, which I don't, because I feel like maybe that would be overstepping. Yeah. But if I'm just talking about my personal experience, and that's I don't know, man, it's just natural, you know? I never really thought about it so much.
Because they are so personal, do you think, I don't even know if you're interested in this, but do you think you could or would want to write for other artists?
Actually, for the better part of 2014, I was primarily writing for other people, and like in writing camps, and in Canada I was writing for TV and TV shows. So before me and my two managers, we decided to like just go full Monty on the artist thing and like focus just everything on that. That was like 50-50. The split focus was me writing for others and me writing for TV.
Do you have to switch up your style when you're writing for others? Do you have it in your mind where it can't be as personal, or how do you do that?
No, I feel like it's important to always include a little bit of truth, but I also feel like it's imperative for me personally to, if I'm writing for someone else, I'd rather write with another writer, almost so that, like, for example, if my songs are a specific recipe, like that's someone said this to me. It's really dope artist, and they said, if this is your cake recipe, this is your cake. Yeah. Are you gonna give your cake recipe? If your cake is working and people are like eating your cake and they're saying we fuck with your cake, you're gonna give your recipe away? No, you combine with another chef that has a dope recipe too, and then you guys, you know, make this little transformer that is still dope, but it's not your cake recipe, you know?
I love that. That is from a smart woman or man. That's amazing. Out of all the songs you have, is there like one song where you just know when you do it live, there is no way you're going to get through it without crying?
Yeah, there's this song that's not released yet called Cotton Candy that kind of fucks me up sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. Sometimes you kind of how you said, like, if it's so such, there's a lot of truths that are in there, and songs sometimes at like time capsules, and sometimes you're ready for the time capsule and sometimes you're not, and it'll just take over, and then you just kind of at the mercy of your emotions.
Up to this point, what do you think is the one thing that you've accomplished or done that has made your parents the most proud?
I don't know. I kind of have to ask them, I guess. I try my best to include them in a lot of things, and I brought them to Europe with me for a lot of the shows, and they also came to the BET Awards, and they were at the Much Music. They were on the carpet with me in Toronto. So I don't know. A lot of people talk about the music industry sometimes, and they say, like, sometimes people change, you know, and people go in, and I try to stay as grounded as possible. Not to say like I'm still a rookie, you know. I'm still like figuring out how to walk with new legs, you know. So I feel like because I make that, I put that at the front of my mind and make sure that I don't forget that. I think my mom and dad are happy about that, and that I'm just trying to make sure that my roots are thick enough that I don't have to worry about the tree falling over. I
was watching all your videos and stuff like that. I love them all. Shutter Island is super creepy. It's great. Gatekeeper, obviously the message and the little short film to go along with it, phenomenal.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
A couple questions. The little girl, the mini you, where did you find her?
That's my little niece, man.
Is it?
Yeah, she's also my goddaughter. She's one of 2 nieces and 2 nephews. I got 4 of them. And she's little mini me, man. She's a lot like me.
Jessie, you got to be careful though. I got to tell you, I don't know what the dating scene is like for you right now, but you keep posting up these pictures on Instagram with all these little cute babies, and I'm like, are any of these babies?
Mine?
Jessie, yeah, you know?
Oh yeah, man, I'm a low-key mom, let me tell you.
Also with Gatekeeper, was there ever a point in your mind where you were like, yo, I'm just gonna drop names, or did you want, I know you bleep them out, like how far were you willing to take it with that?
I never wanted to put a name on it because it was never my intention to directly attack someone that did me dirty. It was my intention to just like express what I went through, and then once people were hearing the song and responding to it, I didn't expect to have such an impact on men, and particularly other women that had been through it. And so it became apparent that it was more important to talk about the message than it was to talk about the person.
Right.
So just the initial instinct was just kind of reinforced after I saw the impact and the connection that it was having. If I ever, it's going to be a conversation
directly to the person.
Absolutely. I'll sit down and fucking say it to their face, like, do you do this? Like, do you continue to do this to women, or like something like that? I would rather that, because it's like almost like hyping up at the bar. You know what I'm saying? And you hype up in front of people, and you know security's there, and you know, like, so sometimes people, when they do that, it's this inflated sense of like, I don't know, ego, and you want to make a show, but it's not about that. If I ever do that, it's going to be face to face, and it's going to be like, it's gonna matter more than trying to make a scene.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the way you went about it was smart. You don't have to say any names, but did other females in the industry actually hit you up after that and be like, yo, thank you?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
The last thing I noticed from the mini movie Gatekeeper is you got some acting skills. Has anybody said that to you?
My managers always say that. They always say there's a second career somewhere in there.
Yo, you could kill it, seriously. Before we wrap up, since we're talking about other jobs and stuff like that, let's talk about how you were a cheerleader for a minute.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
I was deep on your Instagram. You thought I was joking. You were like a legit cheerleader, though, like pro in Canada, right?
Yeah, man.
Break it down for me, because I don't know how we went from that to this. I mean, let me know.
After high school, I didn't want to take any dough and be in debt for school, so I decided that I wanted to work for a year. And my cousin Kathy got me a job at this gym in Toronto. And I was working reception, and I was trying to teach dance there too, and I was in the process of like getting a license to train and stuff, and I met a homegirl there that was an Argos vet, and she was like Argos cheerleaders in Toronto.
Yeah.
She was a vet. She was like, yeah, like you should come. And this whole time I'm still pushing my music. Like I'm still doing like closet sessions, you know, like in the house you don't have money for studio and you pad up the walls. Yeah. Closet sessions. So I was doing bare those. She said that, and the first thing that popped into my mind was like, I could sing the anthem, and you might be around other people that were like, you know, like influential people that. And at that point I was still like, I didn't have money to print CDs, so I would just burn CDs at my house and wrap them up in paper and put my name and my number.
Side note, before you continue, if you ever do a mixtape, we should totally name it Closet Sessions, like Volume 1, Volume 2, or whatever. Wouldn't that be dope? Has anybody done that?
I don't know.
That would be good. But all right, continue. So she got you in there?
No, so she told me about it, and that's what popped in my head. And then I auditioned and I made it. And then it was every opportunity that I could. I had like for example, we would get like hired for like
parties?
Parties. So there was this like event, this label event one day, and I was like, well, I'm not missing this opportunity. So I got my mixtapes and I brought them and I had them in my bag. But we're not supposed to be soliciting there. We're supposed to be working. So I had like maybe like 2 mixtapes from my purse. I had a few more in between my stuff, like trying to hide it and then trying. And it was just that I shit you not when I said I tried every way that I could, and every person, and when it was online it was spamming every fucking body, and it was just a matter of like talking to anyone that would listen. And the fact is I was shit, like I still work to get better, but it was just it takes a lot of no's. It takes a lot of no's to get more gas.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I got a lot of no's back then.
And, you know, circling back a little bit, I think you got to talk to your parents, but I think maybe that is the thing that would make them the most proud. The fact that you kept pushing when you were down and out.
Thanks, man. I hope so. That's cool.
Well, I love your story. I think you are amazing, and I'm excited to sit on the sidelines and watch you do your thing.
Thank you so much for having me. Sorry for coughing on your mic.
It's all good. We're just going to throw that out now, but thank you for being here.